Welcome to the Big Kickoff 2024, and you are going to be part of the biggest year in UW's history. This will be the year that we as a company hit 1 million customers. So first, let's get a quick message from our UW brand ambassador, Ben Fogle.
Hello Team Purple, and a very happy new year to you all. This is going to be a very big year for UW because we are very close to that 1 million customer milestone. Keep working hard and signing up customers, because who knows, you may be the one to sign up that 1 millionth customer.
With the cost of living crisis showing no signs of letting up and mortgage costs spiralling for people and energy prices up again, you are perfectly placed to help lots of people around the UK, whilst helping you and your family have the extra income and lifestyle choices that you desire. You're going to hear lots of tips and advice to help you make a huge success of 2024 from people just like you, who are multi-income individuals juggling UW around their job and other commitments, and many of whom weren't even in the business when we did this event this time last year. But as we start the Big Kickoff 2024, I have a simple question I want to pose for you. Something to keep in mind as we watch the event today. And that question is, what are you prepared to do differently in the next 12 months to what you did in the last 12? Because if we aren't prepared to do something different in the next year to what we've done in the last, then there's a really good chance that you won't get to where you want to. So let me ask you to grab a piece of paper or just a note on your phone, and then ask you to write down a score out of 10 for how you would grade your last 12 months in your UW business in these 10 different categories. So the first one is, what would you score yourself out of 10 for how consistent you've been in the last 12 months? Second question, what would you score yourself out of 10 for how many conversations you've had each day? Next, what would you score yourself out of 10 for how many new customers you introduced over the last year? What would you score yourself out of 10 for how many new team members you introduced to your business compared to maybe how many you thought you might? Next question, what would you score yourself out of 10 for how well you supported your team? And next, out of 10, how good were you at following up? Next, out of 10, how would you score yourself for how much personal development you did? Next, how many promotions or incentives you achieved? What would you score yourself out of 10 for that? And next, what would you score yourself out of 10 for how many of your team achieved promotions or incentives themselves? And finally, out of 10, what would you score yourself for how happy you are with your UW income? Now, if you add all of those up and divide by 10, you will get a score for your 12-month performance. And if this overall figure doesn't thrill you, then you are in the right place. Our aim on the Big Kickoff today is to help you have the best possible 2024. So let's start as we mean to go on with our first speaker, who is joining me here in the studio at Network Headquarters. So let's head over now to our Co-Chief Executive Officer, Andrew Lindsay.
Hello everyone, Happy New Year to you all, and I hope that you had a fantastic time with your families and friends. First of all, I want to thank you for joining us at the Big Kickoff today. You're showing your true colours by making the effort and commitment to take control of your futures, and I hope you have a great day that's full of energy and optimism as we start 2024 together. Because that energy and optimism is in real contrast to the wider world around us all today. You know, Christmas is behind us, and it's now back to the reality of winter and mounting financial pressures, especially with energy prices that went up just last week by £100 for the average household. And apparently, Blue Monday, the most depressing day of the year, is just around the corner on the 15th. But we aren't blue, are we? Because we're purple. And we all have in our hands the answer to many of those challenges and financial problems that folk that all of you know are facing. A lot of today is about reminding you of how you can help people to save with UW and to top up their income by earning through referrals or by becoming a partner in your team. But it's also reminding you that UW isn't just about hard work, and there's a lot of fun to be had too. And that's exactly why we're making not just one, but two hit song themed announcements to kick off the new year. Firstly, we want everyone to party like it's 1999. I mean, seriously, broadband hasn't been at $19.99 a month for absolute years, long before the current cost of living squeeze. And you can turn the clocks back for people and save them a pretty penny. It's a super competitive, time-limited proposition for you to offer to your prospects. And secondly, the incredible ABBA Voyage incentive that's for you and your teams. You know, when Christine and all the team at Network HQ were coming up with this, an unbelievable number of ABBA fans came out of the woodwork. Everyone's been raving about the show, and I promise you, you can take it from Mrs. Lindsay, who's been, that this is an evening that you will not want to miss out on. So make sure that you and your teams are on that dance floor in your 70s disco gear on that night. But on a serious note, really make the most of these initiatives to focus your teams on UW and to get 2024 off to a flying start. Because that's what's going to propel UW through 1 million customers and then on to 2 million. That's what's going to grow Team Purple from 65,000 to 70 to 80 to 90 to 100,000 partners. And that's what's going to drive your UW income onwards and upwards and to help you to achieve your personal goals. But it's really important to also remember that you're helping people. You're acting as a beacon of positivity this January in contrast to that sense of doom and gloom and rudderless drifting that most of the country are feeling right now. You know, UW is absolutely motoring, and every single one of you and your team members can motor too and get more out of the year ahead by committing to more activity, more time spent on UW, and more conversations. You know, the UW services you recommend are market leading with record numbers of customers taking them. And even when we hit that 1,000,000th customer very shortly, 97 out of every 100 households can still get a better deal with your help by switching to UW. And record numbers of partners are earning through UW, earning record amounts of commission every year. Millions of pounds in customer bonuses, millions of pounds in residual income. And those numbers just keep going up and up each month. There is so much further to go for so many more people from every walk of life. People just like you and your friends and your families who can change the course of their lives through UW if they wish to. So you should be super trooper excited about the year ahead. You should be loud and proud about what you do with UW. And if you take my advice, commit to make 2024 the year that you do more.
Well, what a great start to the big kickoff 2024. Wes's scores out of 10 have definitely made me think about what I need to improve this year, and it's always brilliant to hear from our co-CEO, Andrew. Now, let's get some tips to help us grow our business in 2024 as group leader Naomi Crosley chats to various achievers to find out what they're doing to make themselves stand out on social media and get more people looking at UW. Over to you, Naomi.
Thanks, Pauline. Yes, I've got 3 achievers here who are going to share their insights into social media. We're going to start with Emma Large, who is a 100+ club and an STL within 11 months. Emma does UW full-time and is a mum to 2 teenage boys. She's really found using social media to find her people. So tell us, Emma, how do you use social media and what's really working for you?
I've been in the industry 9 years, so it's something that I've sort of honed in on, and I know what works for me now. May work differently for other people, but here we go. I very much consider what my niche market is and who I'm actually aiming at when I post. So you've got to think, who is your target market and your niche? And that's how you connect with people on a level. So people will buy from someone they feel like they know, like and trust. So they've got to feel like they know you, even though you've never actually physically met in person. So, for example, for me, I've got quirky hair, tattoos. I'm very into clothing and quirky clothing, makeup. I've got pugs. I've got 2 teenage boys. I'm middle-aged, so I take the mickey out of that quite a bit on my posts. And humour. I post a lot of humour, and it's always aimed at my sort of age group. So if it's referring to a song, potentially you need to be over a certain age to remember the song, and, you know, that kind of thing. So anything that relates to me is giving somebody a full picture of who I am and what my brand is, even though they've never actually met me. And if you get to the stage where people are tagging you on posts and saying, Emma, I thought you'd like this, when we've never actually physically met in person, you're winning. So people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So you've got to build that. So every post that you post, you've got to post with purpose. It's got to have a purpose to it. And it can be any purpose. I'm not talking business posts. I'm talking about the ones that make you, you, and make people follow you and make you interesting, because you've got to be interesting to follow. So the different types of posts that I post, you've got to make them feel something. So emotional posts, thoughtful, so thought-provoking, educational, giving them information about something. And this isn't business. This is just things that you find interesting. I post a lot of humour posts, a lot of daft posts, and you can take it then to Messenger. That's not about business, is always going to help build relationships and build rapport with people. Positivity quotes, I always do a morning post with some kind of positive lead for the day. I think it's 50% for me, to be fair, because it gets you out of bed and it gets your head on the right mindset. A lot of family, a lot of lifestyle when we go away, days out, holidays. People feel like they've even been with us. I post enough about that. Lots of videos. So be interesting. Be interesting. Don't word vomit all about the business, because that is the biggest turn off for the majority of people that will follow you. It's got to be scattered in and around all these other different kinds of posts, and they are more likely to read your business posts if you've got other interesting things that you've posted about that day. So the key is find your people.
Fantastic. Emma, thank you so much. What amazing insights. It sounds like you're saying posting with a purpose. Make sure that you connect on a real genuine basis with people and make sure that they feel something. And that's how you get your social media results. Amazing. Thank you so much, Emma. So next we have James McCulloch, a 20 plus club member and a TL who's been in the business for 18 months. Now, James, you work full time as a musical director and do UW, and you've had great success using Reels. Now, for lots of us, Reels sound a little bit scary, but you are passionate that anyone can do a Reel. Tell us more. When I'm a bit worried about it, why would I do a Reel?
When I first started UW, I post a few pictures, post a few facts about the business and the company, which of course resulted in so many people messaging me saying, James, I think you've been hacked. I getting all these messages about energy. And I was like, no, that's really me. And that's when I just realized I had to try a different way. So I discovered the power of Reels, because then people could hear me talk and they know it's definitely me and they can't misconstrue it for a hacker. It was me with my voice. For people that don't actually know what a Reel is, it's short form video content. So basically a sort of bite-sized video I think the maximum is 90 seconds, but most people stop listening after about 15 seconds at the very most. And as you said, Naomi, if you've never created a Reel before, it can be quite daunting, really, but it doesn't have to be. And the more you try it, the easier it gets. I used to hate speaking on video, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. When I'm walking to work, I'll just video myself talking about an appointment I did last night and, the maths of that particular bundle. The most important thing with a Reel, though, for me, and it's the same with any social media post, as Emma's already said, is including sort of a call to action. And without a call to action, there's no engagement. It doesn't have to be a major thing. It can be as simple as asking people for their opinion in the comments, or click on a poll, or whatever. Or like and share the video, and that's it. But my best advice with Reels is just go out and try it. It gets easier the more you do it. And I promise you won't look silly, but if you do, just pretend it was intentional.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So, James, you're actually live right now in the theatre, aren't you? So yes. Your UW world really does fit around your main job, which is fantastic because you're doing panto.
Yes, I'm in my glamorous dressing room waiting for a matinee.
I love that you can do this at any time in any place. James, thank you so much. It sounds to me like anybody can do a reel. You just have to have a go. So next we have Amy Holmes, who is a 100 Plus Club and a GL. Now, Amy formerly worked as a care manager, but was able to retire from that job from the corporate world at the age of 22 because of her UW work. Amy, you are super consistent on social media. Why does that matter to you?
I think it's so important on social media to be consistent. And to be honest, when you're first doing that, it can feel a little bit alien. I know when I first started, I tried to post at least 5 times a week, not all about UW, different stuff, lifestyle things like if we'd gone on a nice walk and stuff like that. And it can feel a little bit daunting, like you're posting too much. However, if you're only posting, I don't know, once a week, once every 2 weeks, you're not actually getting in front of that many people because there's so much content now put onto Facebook that it just goes away and the algorithms don't like it. Facebook loves people that post a lot because that improves Facebook, doesn't it? So they then prioritize those persons in being at the top of the feed. So yeah, it's really important to be consistent. I personally try and post at least 5 times a day, which can seem a lot, but when you think of like what you can post, like Emma mentioned earlier about like a nice positive morning post, that's one straight away, isn't it, every single day? And with consistency as well comes consistent results. So when I first started using Facebook to build my UW business, it was about 2.5 years ago now, I didn't get any results really, very little. Might get the odd like from my mum. That was about it. But I didn't give up, even though I was very tempted because I just thought, well, this isn't working, is it? This is just not going how I thought it would. And it took a good few months to get these consistent results. Whereas now, from consistently posting on Facebook 3 to 5 times a day, I now get at least, I'd say, 5 to 10 people reaching out to me on a weekly basis asking for more information. That's without me having to touch base with them. But how I use Facebook and social media is using it as a bit of a know for now list. So most of the people that are on my Facebook, I have already shown them UW, and maybe they didn't join, maybe they didn't actually get around to having a look at it because one reason or another, but they can still see that I'm doing it. So when the timing is right for them, they know that I'm their go-to person. So it's just a case of a good way to keep in touch with a large amount of people. That's how I look at it. You can't build a business on Facebook, but you can build an amazing know for now list. Another thing with Facebook and social media is to post like stories and team successes. So when I first started UW, I didn't have team successes to share because the only person was myself, and I hadn't got off to a fantastic start myself, to be honest. So I just borrowed other people's stories. So if I'd been to a buzz event, or I don't know, even on today, if I'd heard a story that inspired me, I'd just share that and say, wow, I've just been on a call, heard about a lady who works in the NHS working as a nurse who's been able to leave that job. And, you know, just sharing different stories like that. And eventually you'll get your own stories that you can then share. And yeah, it's an amazing feeling when they start to become your own stories that you're sharing. But in the meantime, just borrow other people's. I don't mind. Feel free to share my story. And I'm sure everyone on here is happy if you share their story too. It's just being consistent and being that go-to person.
It sounds like you're doing an amazing job using your social media. And what I love is that all of us on this call today are using our social media in a way that suits us and our personalities. We are thinking what is relevant for us and for our audience. So making sure that when you're looking at using social media for you, be true to who you are. Let's not be slipping into people's DMs and saying, I can beat Scottish Power. Are you interested? It sounds like some kind of, slightly criminal activity. Let's not get involved in that. Let's be really true to ourselves, proud of what we're doing, and being that go-to person that people know, like, and trust, that they want to come and speak to when their situation is right. So when their energy bill's gone up or when their broadband company makes them cross, they know who to go to, that we are being consistent, that we are there all the time, showing up and being true to ourselves.
Our next success story comes from a busy mum of 3, who, when she was first asked to be a UW partner, appeared to have it all. The full-time job at her family business, the nice car on the drive of a beautiful family home. But what was really going on was a very different story. Over the past 4 years, she has had every excuse not to build her business, but she has turned them into reasons to exactly why she should. And in doing so, she's achieved incentives, multiple holidays, she's a 100+ club member, she's a mini owner, and she's a new group leader. Please give it up for Julie Herbert.
My name is Julie and I live in Kent with my lovely partner Ben and 4 beautiful children. My UW journey began in February 2019 when I thanked my lucky stars that a friend sent me a message to ask if I knew anyone that would be interested in earning an extra £600 per month for around 10 hours work. My reply was yes, me. A massive lesson in this for anyone that feels they struggle when recruiting or don't know which of their friends would be interested in becoming a UW partner. Do not miss anyone out and definitely don't prejudge anyone. My reason for saying this, on the outside world, my life looked perfect. Working for a family business, husband, 2 children, driving a really expensive car. So anyone that knew me, if they prejudged me, would think Julie won't be interested in doing UW. She's far too busy and certainly don't need the money. Fact being, I had split up with my partner for 22 years, and 2 days prior to receiving that message, I received a bailiff letter on my doorstep. Life really wasn't so perfect. Will and Hannah Grover, I will thank you both forever for sending me that message. Did I think UW was going to be for me? Did I have a clue about UW? No, but I needed something, and that message came to me at exactly the right time, even though I could absolutely kick myself, as Will had mentioned the business 3 years prior to me, but timing for me was now. Another massive lesson on making your UW journey a success. Make sure you attend all the events. Hannah had sent me a message saying, I know you've only just joined, but there's a great company event next month. You must come if you're available. Again, my reply was, yes, I will definitely come, but I don't actually have the money to book it at the moment, but I will be there. Which I was, a journey to Telford at 4 a.m. because I wanted to see what UW event was all about, and I really needed this business to work for me. Tears of excitement, hope and relief, hearing all these normal people slotting this business around their work and life, and my thought being, I can too. I can change my life through this business. This was the hope I desperately needed. I could have never imagined how powerful this was had I not have attended that event, and luckily for me it was a month after I joined, and I have not missed one since. The events really are where the magic happens. I remember seeing partners getting to group leader and thinking that will never be me, and in complete awe of what an achievement that would be, knowing the determination it takes to stay consistent, yet here I am talking to you all as a newly group leader. It does and will happen for as long as you keep consistent, have those conversations, send those messages, do the training and attend the events. Push yourself out of your comfort zone. These are the basics of building our businesses to the best it can be. So I knew what I had to do, and it was down to me to do it. So I decided to make sure I stayed consistent by doing activity every single day around my full-time job and being a mum. So before I even get out of bed, I will send 5 messages every day. Have I always been consistent? Absolutely not. March 2020, lockdown. UW set up an amazing remote system so partners could keep building their businesses, and I completely wobbled, hid with the world, and didn't ever think I would be able to do it remotely, as I was a face-to-face person. I didn't touch the business for a year, and at one point I didn't ever think I would be back to it. Thankfully for me, in this business, we gain the most amazing friends when we recruit a partner. And one of my dearest friends, Marie, and myself had a call and decided we would be accountability buddies, push each other to get going again and learn it the remote way. We kept in touch, regular calls, and encouraged each other and began to build our businesses. The beauty of not giving up and plugging into the system. How grateful I am for that conversation, and that I'm sure, like many, love the remote way much more as it fits around my family so perfectly. Recently, I've had great activity with partners joining and customer gathering, but my biggest success has to be signing my sister and brother-in-law up after 4 years. Why has my activity been good recently? Because thankfully I never gave up, and those seeds that I planted 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago remembered me. I also meet regularly with Hannah and Marie, and we just get our heads together, but the cakes and the coffee definitely help too. But it's just good fun. I always remain positive, even when I get ignored and the no's, by remembering we have something so powerful that can help so many in these crazy times of living. This business has really been a lifeline for me and has been my rope of hope, knowing I'm building something for my family's future. The girl that's gone from a single mum of 2, receiving a bailiff letter, to meeting a wonderful supportive partner, and now have 4 beautiful children between us. Moved into a beautiful home last year with my UW Mini sparkling on our driveway, and have an exciting future ahead. My top tips: stay consistent, plug into the trainings, find an accountability buddy because this will keep you focused and on track for your goals. Don't worry if your sister says no for 4 years, because eventually they will see sense. Remember, it's not in our control to make their decision. All we can do is show them and plant the seeds. It's been an absolute honour to share a little bit of me and my UW journey with you all. I will see you at the next event.
Our next speaker has trained more 5, 6 and 7-figure income earners than anyone in our space worldwide. He's authored over 50 books and himself has built teams that generated billions of dollars in sales. I saw him speak recently at the Mastermind event, the world's most trusted generic event, and it was clear the respect and love everyone has for him. It's an honour to have him here at the Big Kickoff, so please welcome the legend that is Tom Big Al Schreiter.
We all say good things. The problem is our prospects don't believe us. We say that, oh, our rates are lower. They think, oh, maybe I need to check. Or we could say, you can build a business here. And they think, I'm not so sure. I've never done that before. We all say good things, but getting people to believe the good things, that's the hard part. So why do some people do this? They believe bad news. They never question bad news. There's an old saying that bad news travels fast. So if you have some bad news, the rumor mill will just go and go and go. So here's an example. You could say to somebody, Cadbury chocolate, I heard that they secretly hire aliens and they bring them in from outer space at night, and at midnight they do seances and they sacrifice chickens and they use the blood to put into their vegan premium chocolates, and that's what makes those premium chocolates taste so good. And people's going to say, oh yeah, that's bad news. That's probably true. I better tell my neighbors also. Bad news, I don't know. We just naturally want to believe it. But if it's good news, we're kind of skeptical. So how can we use this way of thinking to get the good news that we have into our prospects' minds? And the answer is, of course, all we have to do is tell them some bad news first. So when we tell them bad news, they're going to say, yeah, you tell the truth. I can trust you. I can believe you. And when you tell them some more good news, they say, well, that's probably true because you were truthful before. So how would that sound when we're talking to a prospect? You might say, the money you save on your utility bill won't make you a millionaire. And they're thinking, oh, you're telling the truth. But it will mean you won't be paying the higher rates anymore that other people have to. Oh, that must be true. So by telling people the bad news first, they will accept that, and then they're more open-minded when we tell them the good news. So you might say things like, well, you probably can't retire and quit your job the first day after becoming a UW distributor, but you start building a business where eventually you might be able to do that. And they go, okay. So bad news first, good news second. Now there's another way of saying it, and it goes like this. I have some good news and some bad news. And people will automatically give us their attention. So we could say things like, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is with our business, If you just continue to build it every week after week, eventually you'll be able to quit your job. But the bad news is you'll miss all your friends at work. And they're thinking, well, that's not such a bad news. I can miss them. I can give them a call or talk to them on Zoom. Yeah, this sounds reasonable. So good news and bad news. So you might say there's some good news and some bad news. The good news is when you get all your utilities switched over, you're going to save about 75 pounds a month. But the bad news is it's going to take you about 6 minutes to do that, and I will help. They go, okay. Good news, bad news. All we have to remember is whenever we say something negative or something bad, people will automatically believe it, and then we have pretty good rapport, so now they'll listen to the good things we say. So here's the good news and the bad news. The good news is this really, really works, but the bad news is it won't work by itself unless we put it to use in real life.
I love the incentives that are offered by UW, having been on several of the Achievers Retreats myself to many amazing places around the world. But there's also so many other rewards offered to us for building our business with money won't buy experiences. It's not always that you couldn't afford them, it's just often that we wouldn't necessarily buy them with all the other household expenses we have. Well, to hear more about what's on offer for Team Purple right now, let's head over to our Head of Partner Engagement, Eileen Seymour.
Hello Team Purple, and what a start to 2024. As Andrew mentioned earlier, we want to take everyone on a voyage this year. To be specific, an ever voyage. Our January and February incentive gives everyone a chance to earn tickets to the fabulous Ever Voyage show and be a real dancing queen on the dance floor. But it's not just about the show. We've also hired a local restaurant for pre-show food and drinks. Street Foods by Chef Colin Brown voted Caribbean Chef of the Year. So yummy food, pre-concert drinks, and a Team Purple takeover on Saturday, 15th of June, 2024. Now that's a genuine money can't buy opportunity, and it's yours for the taking. There are 2 levels to this incentive. The first is 25 points and 2 new trained recruits, and that means you will achieve 2 tickets. The second level is 35 points and 4 new trained recruits, and you'll be earning an overnight stay too. Talk about the winner takes it all. There is also an extra point for broadband services in January only. Now, since we announced the Great Ever Voyage incentive, we've had countless messages from people who have already seen the show and they can't wait to go again. I think it's fair to say they've enjoyed the experience. Let's hear from a few of them now.
Ever Voyage was an amazing night out. It was really hard to believe that you weren't actually at a real live concert. So don't miss out on an awesome night with your teams.
I took my mum to see ABBA Voyage and oh my God, it absolutely blew our minds. I've seen some shows in my time, but it was like nothing I've ever seen. I will definitely be getting this incentive, and this time I'm going to be taking all of my team so we can dance and sing our socks off. Make sure you make this incentive. It is amazing.
ABBA, one of the most fantastic shows I have ever seen. It's unique. I didn't know what to expect. And I still can't believe what I saw. It's fantastic.
And there's still time to qualify for your Achievers Retreat or the Mini Retreat. You have until the end of this month to lock in your points and team builders. Much like the Ever incentive, there's the tangible reward you receive, but also that money can't buy experience of being there with your team members and fellow achievers and making lifelong experiences with them. We hope to see as many of you there as possible.
Tip to get my promotion is consistency. So whether this is doing something for half an hour every single day, and whether this be messaging people, ringing people, neighbourhood letters, I'd make sure I do something every single day in order for my business to grow. I joined UW because my mortgage had increased, my maternity pay had finished,
And what this business has now allowed me to do is have a flexible income around my son and also help afford that mortgage increase.
Having supported over 120 appointments successfully in the last year and 4x our business, my top tip would definitely be speak to more people, learn to start more conversations, and be full of enthusiasm.
I decided that I wanted to do this and I wanted to make it work. So, yeah, I had to make a few changes. I had to learn the skills, master the skills. There's lots of people out there that compare themselves to others, but look, I'm just not prepared to do that. This is my journey, my business, on my terms. And yeah, of course, obstacles are put in front of us. People miss appointments, people don't show up, all of that kind of stuff. But you know what? If plan A doesn't work, we've always got plan B, C, D, and E.
My top tip for getting to FTL would be, first of all, go back to all the people that you spoke to previously. Check in with them. Maybe the time wasn't right for them then, but go back and speak to them now. Secondly, and the biggest tip of all, is to stay in touch with your upline regularly. Speak to them on a daily basis. They're going to keep your belief high and keep you motivated. I joined UW because I work as a singer. It's very part-time, weekend work, not always regular, so I needed an extra income to top that up. What UW has done for me is gave me the best Christmas financially for me and my 2-year-old boy, and also helped me with my self-esteem, give me a big boost in self-confidence and self-belief.
Draw a vision board and touch it every day, because if you can visualize it, you can achieve it. Lastly, share the opportunity to everyone, because you never know who's going to join your business.
My top tip is don't do what I did when I first started, which is sign up and do nothing, because you will earn nothing and you will regret the time you lost. For me, I sold my taxi due to COVID and I joined UW to replace my income and pay towards another car and a holiday. But I did nothing as I quickly found a full-time work at a factory. When I realized what I earned in a week with my job was the same as I would have earned in an hour with UW. This time I took it seriously and I got to STL within 5 months.
Having overcome many difficult challenges in life, both physically, mentally, adding a toxic relationship, well, this was just too much for me to take. I thought enough was enough. I made the very tough decision at the time to go it alone, just me and the kids. So I really had to focus on helping customers and supporting our team. By doing this, I managed to earn enough money to become financially independent.
Referrals are the lifeblood of our business, and getting good at asking for them will ensure a steady flow of potential customers. Now, our next speaker didn't really get off to the best start with referrals, but since then, he's completely mastered the art. He has introduced over 600 personal customers. Now, out of the last 60, 58 were referrals from existing customers. So, get your pens and paper ready to take lots of notes as we go all the way to Sri Lanka, where he joins us from holiday. The amazing Leon Warner.
So I'm here in Sri Lanka on one of our fantastic Achievers Retreats. And what we're going to be talking about for the next few minutes is referrals. And referrals can be a fantastic way to build your business. In fact, it's a great way to get others to help you build your business. Whether it's passive income, whether it's more money up front, or whether it's going on one of these fantastic breaks, referrals really can be the key. Now, I know for a fact that there are some people out there watching and listening to this who perhaps find referrals a little bit tricky. And maybe you even think that everybody out there is getting more referrals than you. But just remember, it's all about running your own race. So when it comes to referrals, we have a very, very simple 3-step approach. And it's really, really easy to remember a very simple acronym. And that acronym is the word REF, as in the beginning of the word referrals. So let's go through this 3 steps really, really simply. What's the R for? The R is for rapport. Now, rapport is something that actually we do really, really naturally And we're doing it all of the time. When you meet people that you know, when you meet people perhaps that you don't know, one of the first things you do is have conversation. And the top tip in terms of building rapport is to, as you may have heard before, be interested, not interesting. Be interested in what the other person has to say. Ask them lots of questions. Make sure that you're listening to their answers and not just waiting to jump in with your thoughts or your phrases. For example, we're here in this lovely paradise in Sri Lanka, and I could be chatting to someone and I could be asking them a question. Where do you come from? And the person says, I come from London. That's really interesting because I come from London as well. I grew up in Finchley. And you get the idea. Now, what you want to do is perhaps have that conversation in a slightly different way. So, where do you come from? I come from London. Really? Which part? I come from Barnet. That's really interesting. I think that's somewhere near Finchley, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So, you're asking questions and you're building that rapport together. Now, if we take that into an appointment situation, then you want to be spending some time as you perhaps go into their house, or whether you're doing a remote appointment, you want to be talking about anything that isn't UW. So you might be asking them questions about some of the pictures around their houses. You might be asking questions about how they know the person who referred you, because that's a really great tip, mentioning referrals as you go along really from the very beginning. So you want to be having that time before you actually get down to business, as it were. And I'll let you into a little secret about my own appointments. Sometimes my appointments take more than an hour. Now, that's not to say that you can't do appointments in a faster time. But one thing I can guarantee is that if you haven't spent that time building rapport, whether it's before the appointment or at the beginning of the appointment, then I can tell you now that things don't often gel as well as they could if you spent the time talking about anything that's not UW and being interested in them. So rapport is the R. The E is for existing customers. Now, these are the people that you've already helped, and you really, really want to look after them. One of the things that I do, which has helped me go from probably like an awful lot of people out there, as I said, perhaps getting very few referrals. In fact, it may even feel like I used to feel. I used to feel like I got no referrals. I got one or two along the way, but the results weren't as good. And what I found is, by looking after my existing customers, they, in time, not straight away, but in time, started to recommend me on to other people. So there's two areas for this. One is, be the person who goes the extra mile. Because unlike some of the other companies out there, they don't have the number one ingredient, and that is us. We have the ability to offer some amazing, what could be known as after-sales service. Maybe they need help plugging in their router. Maybe they need help with their SIM card. Go the extra mile, be that person, and nobody else has ever done that for them. No other company has a personal touch, perhaps that's been recommended by someone else. The second thing is that I do, and I've done for quite a long time, well over a year now, keep your existing customers informed of things that are going on. So maybe the energy prices are going up. Maybe there's some stories in the news that maybe feature us, or maybe it's about the cost of living crisis. I keep my customers informed maybe every 10 to 14 days via a WhatsApp broadcast list. And I have found that at first, nothing happened. However, over time, and you have to give it time, plant the seeds, and you'll find that you will build that rapport, continued rapport with existing customers, and they will start to pass you on. And finally, the F in the ref is for fans. Now, these are the people who've already recommended you. They've already given you referrals, because it's much easier to get a referral from someone who's already given you a referral. Now, these fans you want to look after them, just like you look after existing customers, but go the extra mile. Maybe drop them 1 or 2 extra messages. Maybe if you're passing, you're doing an appointment, maybe it's a referral appointment from them. Maybe if you're passing, maybe knock on the door, say, hi, just wanted to let you know that there's another £50 coming off your bill. So those fans really, really are important. And a final top tip on those fans, how many of you out there have ever had an existing customer who said, oh, I've been trying to recommend you to everyone, but nobody's taken the bait yet? I'll bet you've got a few people like that. Well, guess what? They're already referring you. You just haven't had the result that you want yet. But they are super fans as well. They are referring. So make sure you look after the people. You may not have done a referral appointment from them yet, but make sure you look after them. So in closing, you've got REF. Rapport, existing customers, and fans. Look after all of those people, learn those 3 steps, and take your time. I promise you, the odds on getting results absolutely straight away when you start something are quite low. But if, as I did, you get a little bit better, and you keep going consistently by building rapport with people, taking your time, looking after your existing customers, and really looking after those super fans and reminding everyone over and over and over again, drip feed over time, that they can benefit by recommending on other people, then you will really, really move your business forward. Have a great rest of the day.
So up next, we're going to be hearing from some of the team players that have helped Pip and Caroline Taylor achieve senior group leader. They've had an incredible year, and in fact, personally, they've recruited 60 partners alone. That's just amazing. Their renewed energy, enthusiasm, motivation, and in turn momentum echoes all around them. I'm sure you can see it and feel it. We're going to head off to Kent now to hear from Caroline, who's going to tell us all about it.
It's fantastic to have the opportunity to pick the brains of this gorgeous lot. It's a 3-year-old newly qualified group leader team with the gorgeous Michelle Page at the front. Dan Wilson and Holly James neck and neck in qualifying for senior team leader in under 18 months. So let's hear from them. Let's start with you, Michelle. Your group leader, a full-time driving instructor who started in lockdown when you couldn't work. And this time last year, your team had 250 group customers. A year later, and you've ticked over 800 group customers. So other than recruiting, of course, what would you put that success down to?
Oh, it's definitely culture and support. We've built that really well within the team. So once you've recruited, make sure you use that excitement and get support in as soon as possible. Set up a supporting WhatsApp group with yourself, your new partner, and either your upline or someone cross team that really will resonate with the new partner that you've recruited. And it creates a safe place for them to share their struggles, because there will be them, and also their successes in there as well. And get that fast start plan booked in straight away. Also get them plugged into a local buzz. The company training as well is amazing, and help people see that there's social proof that this business works as soon as you can. If you've got a larger team page or a larger team WhatsApp group, get them on there as well to make them feel part of something big. Now, I tend to do this once they get to a qualified distributor, so it doesn't become too overwhelming for them. But the real support comes from when the supported appointments, working with that partner at their own pace and talking through all the highs and lows as they occur to help them build confidence as well as a skill. We also do recognition as well. So every morning I'll go into the partner portal, into the recognition section, and select yesterday to see who's recruited and added new customers and recognising them. And it isn't just saying well done. It's really digging down to see how these come about. As a team, we can then learn from their experience, and this creates a conversation and people coming together.
That's awesome, isn't it? And we can, well, all of this kind of skills and that, if you go onto the partner portal, it's on the Getting to Senior Team Leader training. And at any level, really recommends that people jump onto that once you've got some momentum in your team. And up until that point, get on Getting to Team Leader training and do them both every single month, because you hear from different people and hear how they're kind of putting things in. That's brilliant. So, Holly, you are a beautician. You've been in the business for 16 months. You've got an amazing bustling team. And as a tool for showing people the business, you and Dan decided to do your own virtual opportunity presentations after watching some other leaders doing them. Tell us why this has been going well for you guys.
Yeah, so all the tools we've got are absolutely amazing, but I think Dan and I really felt that our team culture is so lovely and supportive that we felt we could really bring that to our teams every week for them to then invite prospects to. It's a really great way for us as well, for new joiners when they're just starting out, to actually just invite people every week to our virtual opportunity, because they get to see us. It's familiarity, and they can say, look, my upline Dan is hosting this Zoom. Can you please jump on and support me? So they get that connection already with cross team. And it also means that our team have been able to step up and give their own testimonials. So we've really showing people our team culture, which I think is really lovely. And it just shows that family vibe that we have and makes it really real. So people are like, actually, this is a no-brainer. I'm trusting in this more. And it's just really, really personal. And we found that it has grown our businesses. People are inviting. We have got a lot of people coming to them, and we are recruiting really well from them. So it's really lovely to be able to give that to our teams. We love it. We have a little debrief afterwards as a team, and it's really bringing that confidence to people in the team that they can give their testimonial and tell their story on a big platform like that.
Absolutely. And it's, what is it? Your vibe attracts your tribe. Love it. So Dan, also, another thing that we're really passionate about as a team is the team buzzes. When you join the business, same time as Holly, you're in financial services, your team is absolutely buzzing. When you first joined, Pip and I were in Mexico, and it was a tricky time, but there was a buzz in Glasgow, and I said, Dan, get yourself to the buzz. Tell us what happened after that.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. So, joined on the Sunday. Caroline's like, look, you've got a local buzz tomorrow. You need to get along. That's what will give you the belief of the business. So, didn't think twice, just booked onto it, went along, not really knowing what to expect. And the minute I hit that room, and just over 100 UW partners in that room, it just hit me that this business was a lot more than what I expected it to be. And just sitting in that room, hearing the stories, the testimonials of people, and basically what this business has done for them and how it changed their life, my head was just turning, and I just realised that this business was basically going to change my life. And came out that buzz, no pun intended, but I was buzzing, called up Caroline, and I just said, right, how do we get going with this business? And I've never looked back since, and I've never missed a company event since that day, because the belief that event gave me in the business was off the charts.
And it really helps you, didn't it, with the fact that actually your first 15 appointments were all something other than yes.
Yeah, so we had over 20 appointments booked in the diary over the space of a few weeks, and 15 no's in a row. Now, if I hadn't been to that buzz and basically seen the power of the stories of people doing the business, would I have been strong enough to have stuck with it? I don't know. But being at that buzz and seeing that it was just normal people like me doing this business, and they just had a whole load of no's over the course of the 7, 8, 9, 10 years, however long they've been doing the business. And I just realised, look, you just need to keep going and believe in the system. And I've never looked back, and lo and behold, after those 15 no's, we got a couple of yeses in a row, and that was it. I've never looked back. And now the fact that I've got team going along to these buzzes, the last buzz, I think we had like 9 team members at it, and seeing their face walking into these events for the first time. And I know how powerful it's been, because we've got a whole load of team now booked to go to Power Up in April as well, which is really exciting.
Absolutely. So what, Dan, would be your top tip?
So my top tip is, Basically, find people in the business like you are in a position where you would like to be in 5 to 10 years' time and duplicate what they're doing.
Fantastic. And Holly, what would be your top tip?
Team who play together, stay together.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And Michelle, what would be your top tip?
Help enough people get what they want, and in turn, you will get what you want.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you, everyone. There's been some great top tips in there. And as we move into 2024, my tip would be treat this like a job, turn up every day and have some fun and spend time with the people you enjoy to spend time with.
My question for you today is, are you going to get mad about something in 2024? Mad? Make a decision. And what about starting with your health? After all, your health is your wealth. And if you're looking to be kinder to yourself and give your body what it really deserves, that will involve some exercise or regular movement. Now, whether that's 15 minutes or 30 minutes a day, you're simply trying to create a new habit. Now, a great book to help you with this is James Clear's Atomic Habits. What are you going to do? Where are you going to do it? And when are you going to do it? So start making an appointment with yourself. Now, I still color code my diary, and well-being's always blocked out in blue for you. Now, research has shown that when you contract your muscles, chemicals are released into the bloodstream, and that passes to the brain, and it really does make you feel good. You develop a vitality and energy that will transfer into all aspects of your life, including building your business. Now, it's not always easy, and sometimes you have a choice to make. Now, you can either throw the towel in or use it to wipe away the sweat. And a top tip I have for you is to get a buddy, an accountability partner, or a mentor. Now, when things got tough for me, I sought the services of our next speaker. I had a decision to get mad about getting to MGL, and I needed support and guidance, someone to keep me on track. Now, it was truly transformational in my case. Not only is he a health and lifestyle coach with one-to-one clients based all over the world, but he's a senior group leader with UW2. So, will you please welcome the fabulous Tristan Lee?
Because you're gorgeous, I'd do anything for you.
Hello Team Purple, it's Tristan here, wishing you a very healthy new year. Now, as we all try to do more in 2024 as we move towards 1 million customers, I'm going to share with you some tips on how to be more attractive. So bear in mind that as UW distributors, we are in attraction marketing. That's what we do. People are not just attracted to the opportunity, they are also attracted to you. So the question is, how do we become more attractive? What would you say your current level of business attractiveness is? I believe we are a bit like magnets. You know, we draw people to us, we draw opportunities to us. And one of the ways we do that is through the vibe or the energy we put out into the world. So we're a bit like boomerangs. What you put out, you get back. So as we all are building our businesses, don't forget that your energy and your general vibe and your vitality is incredibly important. So I've been involved with UW for over 20 years. It's given me many opportunities to pursue my passions and invest in my own health so I can help others to do so as well. I'm sure people are drawn to my skills and my wisdom, especially on my journey to get to SGL. But I think also people hopefully are attracted to my vibe and my energy and my incredible handsomeness and modesty. You can have all the knowledge and all the wisdom in the world, but if you've got, if you look really stressed, your skin's a mess, you're exhausted, you've got curry on your shirt, the proposition may not look so appealing. So it's really important to invest in ourselves. So I would suggest that we look at how to make ourselves more attractive in the broadest sense, both physical and emotional. So I have got 5 habits to turbocharge your business, to become more magnetic. because I really believe it's about cause and effect. The cause is your health, your energy, your vibe. The effect is what you draw to you: abundance, opportunities, vitality. So most of our communication is non-verbal. So what vibe are you transmitting? Like a radio beacon, what are you putting out? So let's think about ways we can create more great energy. So those 5 tips are as follows. Tip number 1, food. Better food, real food. If you want better energy, eat better food. So nutrition is incredibly important. Eat real food. Less processed food, more fruit and veg, nuts and seeds. Tip number 2, physical activity. We have better energy if we are more physically fit. So go for a walk each day, make room for physical activity. It changes your vibe completely. Tip number 3, sleep. If you are rested and calm and have slept well, your energy will be a lot better than if you are exhausted and sleep deprived. So make sleep a priority. It's not a luxury. Tip number 4, self-care. How are you taking care of yourself? How are you dressing? How are you coiffing your hair? What's your personal hygiene like? It's very important, I think, to for ourselves, but for people around us, to present ourselves in an attractive way, as in attracting to us the things we want as opposed to things we don't. And tip number 5 is your self-talk, your self-value, your mindset. Who do you think you are? It's important that you know you're valuable, that you are good enough, that you are capable, that you are worth success. So speak to yourself in the way that attracts that back to you. I really think that health attracts wealth in the broadest terms. When you value yourself, you draw value to you. So, as Oprah said, the only thing we really need to do in life is be responsible for the energy that we're putting out into the world. Don't sacrifice your health to create wealth. Prioritize health to attract wealth. Very, very important. So this is a very, very exciting time for the business. In order to create all the dreams and goals we all have, it's really important that we take really good care of ourselves so that we attract what we want by focusing on being attractive. Happy New Year. Stay well, stay happy, and stay gorgeous.
Because you're gorgeous, I'd do anything for you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we come to that moment in the day where you're going to be wired, fired and inspired all the more. Our next speaker is literally a friend to everybody. And that's a bit of a cliche, but in this case, it's absolutely true. He was recently recognized globally by being invited to speak as a main speaker for the Mastermind event, the most trusted and prestigious event in our professional space across the world. He's a great guy. He's a published author and by his own admission has struggled with dyslexia. Ladies and gentlemen, please give incredible, rapturous applause wherever you may be. Bounce up and down on the settee, dance around the living room, jump into the air, if it's safe to do so. And welcome onto stage, Mr. Stefan Longwell.
New year, new start for many people in our business. I am flat out excited this year in UW. 1 million customers on the horizon. How amazing is that? Whoa, what a success story. Now, if you're quite new in our business or you haven't really got off the starting blocks yet, but you're looking to get some success, I'd like to offer you some humble tips of advice, if that's okay, obviously. Number 1, find out what's best and most comfortable for you. Okay, you're running your own race. By all means, get inspired by the people on this. Get inspired by the big customer gatherers or the top recruiters, but don't compare yourselves to them. You know, you may be at your chapter 1 in your business. I'm at my chapter 25. By all means, get inspired by people like us. You know, thinking, flipping effort, that little bald bloke from Stockwood in Cheshire, dyslexic, ADD can do it. Mary, we're going to smash it. That's number 1. Find out what's best and most comfortable for you. Number 2, keep it duplicatable, if that makes sense. Okay, there's a book out there by Randy Gage. It's called Making the First Circle Work. In it, he says it's not necessarily what works for you, it's what duplicates within your team. And number 3, don't overcomplicate it. I have distributors that will give their new team members a big spreadsheet with all the facts and figures on it. And if you did that with me being dyslexic, I'd say, I can't do this. So, and I need you to couple this with 3 things. They're called the 3 C's, and it stands for conviction, commitment, and consistency. Conviction is how you take your business forward. Conviction is like a knife cutting through something. You see, nobody wants to be a part of your test. If people think you're testing this thing out, they'll never join you. Okay. Commitment is the next thing. Being committed to this for the next 12 months, and you'll learn everything to be successful in that journey. But here's the big one, being consistent, touching your business each and every day. Okay. Consistency. And it reminds me of a story I told years ago about an old Wild West water pump. And our job, we're in the Wild West, is to keep pumping the pump to get the water out the well. And what would happen, we're pumping and pumping and pumping and not seeing any water coming out the end of the spout. And then just before it decides to come out the end of the spout, we stop pumping. And what happens is the water goes back down and finds its own level back down in the well. And it's a little bit like our business. People will start working their business and they get a bit frustrated because they haven't had the success that they think they deserve, and they stop pumping the well. And then what happens is they lose their momentum. And then when they come to start pumping the well again, that big, funny shaped handle, that cast iron handle, it seems twice as hard to start pumping. So consistency. Touch your business each and every day, and I promise you great things will happen. And you need to couple that up with what I call the applied basics. Okay, and do this on the consistent basis. What are the applied basis? Number 1, do a contact list. Empty your mind on a tablet of paper. Do not prejudge anybody. It's up to you who you want to approach about the benefits of the services and the opportunity, but empty your mind on a tablet of paper. Everybody you met at your 18th birthday, your 21st birthday, or your wedding or whatever, people you know on Facebook, just write it down and then categorize the list. If I'm approaching them about the services, I'll talk to them about the savings. But if I'm talking to them about an opportunity, I focus on telling them about the money. And I'm looking for something through my questioning on a need, want, or something maybe they're dissatisfied with in life. And then I can give them a solution by helping them make money. I'll lead with the opportunity if I'm leading with the business. Okay, that's number 1, do a list. Number 2, this is the real crux. This is the secret. Are you ready? It's mastering the art of invitation, inviting people off said list to come and sit down with you or come on a Zoom call with you so you can share the benefits of the services and the opportunity. Number 3 is getting good at showing them the benefits of the services and the opportunity. But here's a secret. They have the great ability to answer a question with a question. If somebody gives an objection, they'll have an answer to that. Let me give you a couple of examples. Let's say you help Mrs. Jones save £55 a month, and she turned around to you and said, "Oh, it all looks good, but I need to think about it." You need an answer to that, saving £600, putting benefits of what that £600 a year could benefit for Mrs. Jones. And these top leaders, these master customer gatherers and recruiters, answer the question with a question. Here's another example. If you're sharing the benefits of the opportunity with somebody and they say, "I just haven't got the time." Well, it's not really lack of time people have. Whether you're Richard Branson or a pauper on the streets, we're all gifted with 24 hours in a day. It's not lack of time we have. It's lack of priorities. So if somebody says that I've not got the time, you need an answer to that objection, if that makes sense. Number 4 is referrals. Now, if they don't join you, people don't join me, you've got to get referrals. Find out who they know who may be going through a tough time financially. Their mortgage has gone up. They're having a tough time at work, fed up with their job or whatever, or they want to save some money. Okay, so referrals is number 4. Number 5, here's the big one, follow-up. They say that fortune is in the follow-up. It took me, I got approached about our business 3 or 4 times before I joined. And there's many people in the network will tell you a similar story. Here's a big one though. Okay, number 6, get to events. This is event today. If you had more people from your team on the events, it would get into their heads. They say once the mind's expanded, there's no going back, right? Well, these events help people's minds grow and expand to know the magnitude of what they've got with our business. So get people to events, and it's where people's buy-ins go to a different level. They get the magnitude of what UW is about. But here's another little secret. You get your face known. There's an old saying in business, sometimes in business it's not what you know, it's who you know. So get to the event so you get your face known. Number 7 is personal development. I had to go on a major growth curve, personal development. They say that, I think it's Jim Rohn, the late great Jim Rohn says, formal education, which I had such a poor one, so I respect everybody who has great formal education. Formal education makes you a living, but self-education makes you a fool. What you never read can never help you, okay? So I don't care whether you like reading or not. You know, if it's going to save you 10 years of doing it wrong, read the books. Turn your car into a little mobile school on wheels instead of building, I don't know, Adele's. God bless Adele's a great singer, but instead of building Adele's royalties up on the radio, why don't you turn your car into a little mobile school on wheels and just self-educating yourself? That's number 7. Here's the big one, number 8. You ready? It's getting better at the first 7. That you become masterful over this journey over the next year or so. You'll become absolutely amazing. So, in closing, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to be the best that you can be. All right? And couple this with a thing called desire. Desire is the spark that lights the forest fire. I think it was Socrates said 2,500 years ago that being tentative in life is no power. And it's still true today as it was back 2,500 years ago. You know, you've got to stand for something, because if you don't, you might just fall for anything. You need that white hot desire to succeed, because the motivation that some of you are looking for sits deep inside the subconscious. And unless it's cranked out with some desire, you may be best going through life as average. Can you get really fired up and passionate about your business where you're prepared and have the courage to talk to anybody about our benefits of our services and opportunity? Well, once you have that desire to succeed, it must be presumed that within inside you there's some unrest. You're not in a peak state of lethargy or apathy. You've recognized you're looking for some changes in your life, and you're looking for the roadmap to get those changes. Here's your roadmap. It's called firing up your own engine, called personal desire. Where does it come from? It comes from being honest to where maybe you are today. You want to get motivated, check your bank balance. You want to get motivated, ask yourself this deep and burning question. God forbid, through some airborne germ, I lost my income tomorrow. What would I lose in 6 months if I could replace none of it? You want to get motivated, maybe start telling the truth about some of your circumstances in life. You know, are you debt free? Can you help your kids through education? Can you walk the beaches of the world? You know, can you help people in third world countries? Ladies and gentlemen, open up the visions of possibility with UW. So, be the best you can be this year. Be the best you can be. Okay, don't miss this. Don't wake up in 2 years and go, bloody hell, oops, I missed that one. Please don't do that. I sincerely wish you success for the future. I hope our paths cross at a big event. And best wishes, and bye-bye for now.
I've got a little bit of exciting news for you. For the last year, I've been working on a secret project. So, what could possibly have been a year in the making? Well, today, I'd like to announce the launch of the Resilience Project podcast. Now, I've always said that successful people and unsuccessful people are the same. But successful people do the things that unsuccessful people won't. They learn how to overcome challenges and problems quicker. And in the Resilience Project podcast, I unravel just how true that really is. You'll hear fireside chats with successful people from many different fields, from business to sport, from the media to music, from authors to explorers, and many others who've made a positive dent in the world. This podcast is aimed at ambitious people from any background who want to achieve more out of life. And I'll be aiming to unpick from our guests how their dreams became reality and what mindset helped them achieve their successes. Could it really be luck? Or did they face the same disappointments, frustrations, and naysayers as the rest of us? And if so, how did they find the resilience to push through? The Resilience Project podcast launches soon on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Music, and all the usual podcast platforms. So if you want to be the first to find out about the launch of the Resilience Project podcast, register for details now at weslinden.com/podcast. Oh, and a little favour. If you happen to personally know anyone who has their own inspirational and resilient success story that we could consider as a guest for future episodes, please drop us an email on podcast@weslinden.com. Our friends at Knowledge is King have been supplying personal development books and audios to Team Purple for more than a decade now. And they have a very special big kick-off offer for all those who attended this weekend. 2 of the most highly rated books are available for a special offer this weekend only. Firstly, The Consistency Chain, a brilliant book to help you create the consistent habits you need to succeed. And The 4 Colour Personality Types by Tom Big Al Schreiter, a fantastic read to help you better understand how to deal with your prospects based on the information they need to make a decision. Usually they'd be over £25 to buy them both, but this weekend only is just $19.99 for both books, including delivery. To get yours, go to knowledgeisking.co.uk, and on the homepage you'll see an image with both books together. Click on that to grab your special offer for this weekend only.
Welcome back to the Big Kickoff 2024. Enjoy the second half.
Welcome back to the Big Kickoff 2024. Next up, we have a panel that will be really useful for people who are looking to work their UW business more effectively with their significant other, or who would like their partner to be more involved, even if not doing the business day to day. But of course, it'll be useful as you grow your team too and come across these situations. It features some recently promoted senior group leaders and is chaired by someone herself who works the business as part of a couple, albeit for the first few months she was reluctant to be too involved herself until finding a happy medium to growing UW alongside her husband Paul. So let's head over to Suffolk to new senior group leader Kathy Duffield.
I am delighted this morning to bring in Sam and John Earnshaw. Sam joined the business in 2018 and she reached SGL in 4 years, which was absolutely phenomenal. They have a son, Jacob, who is 8, and John runs his own business. So Sam, if I can bring you in first, you've always been a me and you have run other product-based businesses. Can you briefly explain to us, how John found UW initially?
Well, to say that he wasn't impressed is a bit of an understatement. I didn't really get it, and I tried to introduce him in the past to what I used to do, but there were so many flaws. You're always on your phone, it costs money, it doesn't give a massive return. And so when I said, look, John, I've decided that I'm going to try UW, it was like, oh, here we go again. What's she doing now? So I don't think you were overly impressed, were you?
No. The product selling was just not working really. Product selling being sales based, then at the end of every month, it meant that Sam was kind of spending money on the credit cards in order to hit sales targets that were enabling her to earn at the level that she needed to earn at. So when UW came along, I was a bit sceptical.
What did you notice that was different about UW?
She earned immediately. I think in the first month, she earned over £1,000. And that was massive for us. And then within 5 months, she qualified for one of the holidays.
You took John to Amplify sort of within 3 months of joining UW. Why did you feel that was important?
And so I had to bribe him. So I bribed him saying, look, we're going for a night out. We can get drunk. And it was really good fun. And I think that was the bit that swayed you. But he'd come to another event prior to that. And that didn't end that well. So all his previous history with anything to do with network marketing was more hobby and more female based, and not a serious business. And so I just thought it would be really good for him to see exactly what UW was all about, because it was my first event as well.
It changed my mind. It gave me the confidence that she was doing something that was right and that she was happy doing. It was a FTSE 250 company. The event was that professional that it just hit home that it was the right place for her.
And I think because you're male and you run your own successful business, it made you realise that this was a serious business. He watched it all like this, all the way through it. He just sat and watched and didn't say yes, no, he didn't move. And I thought, oh, wait, he don't like this. This is going to be a big no.
There was some laughs and some jokes. There was some seriousness. There were some bits where they kind of put a lump in my throat, and it was like, yeah, it hits such a multitude of different people that if I'd got one tip, then it would be, if you're a partner that doesn't do the business, go to one of the events, because it'll kind of open your eyes as to what the company is actually all about.
So the big question, I suppose, is what difference has UW made to you as a family and as a household with two businesses?
I got really cheesed off having to go to do the school run and have all that flexibility. So for me, I think it's made me more confident, which has made us better, hasn't it?
Yeah, the flexibility is massive from my point of view, because it enables me to do my business how I need to do it, which is I've got to be off the cuff. Sometimes I've got to be here, sometimes I've got to be there. And I know that with Sam doing the business, that it's she's got it covered. She's got home covered. She's got Jacob covered. Not that I don't think about that, but I don't have to think about that in terms of making business decisions. And that for me is big.
And I think if I didn't do UW now, with our mortgage has just gone up and the bills are going up, then I don't think we would survive on just your income anymore, would we?
No, probably not.
And have the nice stuff in life.
Yeah, and that's incredibly powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Incredibly
and
powerful.
then when you get a holiday thrown in every year, you've got to work for them. But for me, it's a non-negotiable, because it's where Jacob gets to meet his friends. It's where we get to meet our friends. And that doesn't come out of the household pot. So that's our family holiday, which then frees up the money. We've just come back from Lapland, which meant that we had that pot of money that we would normally spend on a summer holiday to spend on another holiday.
There's materialistic things that UW gives us, the holidays, the ones that we qualified, we've been to New York and Washington, Mexico, Orlando.
You're driving my Tesla.
Portugal, we've got a Tesla on the drive, we've got the Mini on the drive. So there's a lot of materialistic things that it gives us, but the friendship's probably the most powerful thing that it gives us.
And finally, I'd just like you to summarise for me.
Yeah, I mean, we've always said that I kind of do the now money, and you are doing the tomorrow money.
Yeah. Your business brings in great money now, but there's no exit plan or retirement plan with that. Whereas with this, I'm doing the long term. Any now money that comes in now is a great bonus, but it's that building that legacy and building that residual pension pot for the future.
UW has made a huge difference to you, Sam and John, and how you've had success driving your UW business with John's full support. So thank you for sharing all of that. So we're now going to come on to Claire and Joe. You started the business in 2011. You hit SGL in 2023, and you very much do the business as a family. So George is 12, Eloise is 11, and Henry 8. And you both have a police background. So Joe, I'm going to start with you. You joined in 2011, and it was very much you driving the business at the beginning with Claire's support from the sidelines. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I guess I was one of the lucky ones, because Claire was always supportive, but Claire was supportive in such a way that, you were happy to kind of push me out the house. But we knew very early on that the way to keep a really good lifestyle was for me to carry on working, not have to worry about getting promoted. I could stop doing overtime and all those things that took me away from the family, looking at the tomorrow money, focusing a little bit elsewhere of the police, putting some effort into UW and building something alongside. And that's worked really nicely for us over the years.
Claire, if I bring you in, sort of around 2017, there was a bit of a change with how things were for you.
In 2017, Joe became quite unwell and had a period of long-term sickness from work. And at that point, I knew that it was time now to really look at this business again. At that point, I started going to events on my own, and I went to some training, and somebody recommended a book to us, which is the Larry Winget, what's it called?
Shut Up, Stop Whining and Get a Life.
That's the one.
Remember it well.
It was just an incredible book that really changed everything for us. And I was really insistent, Joe, got to read this book. Joe, got to read this book. And he read the book. And then that for us was completely the turning point. So it was really, we were out of the business nearly 6 years, I think, before we really got back in. And
you've clearly learnt to work, very, very well together. So could you share some of your insights with us about how you make the business work?
We very much play to our strengths. I'm a bit more organised, I think it's fair to say.
I think that would be the understatement of the century. All of the deficiencies, and we'll call it that, all of the deficiencies I have are areas that you kind of make up for in abundance.
But likewise, I've learned how to present, how to, gather customers, how to do all of the things that come with UW. But I think as far as running a business and running a team, that's where your strengths really, really come into their own.
Yeah, you've had challenges in the business, which you've touched on. How do you feel you've overcome those together?
Just realising that focus, going to that next event, doing the next right thing, just focusing on doing the next right thing. And just keeping that belief at the forefront of your mind and being accountable, maybe being accountable to each other is what's helped us over the years as well. Most definitely.
When you had your period of, being quite unwell, then, I pick up the slack, and likewise, in COVID, I had a little period where it wasn't, I wasn't really on top form. And again, you pick that up. So it's really tag teaming. And I think one of the things that we learned really in policing is teamwork's really important in the policing world. But I think you understand that actually you're not always on top form. And that's where your team, or, you're working as a team, your marriage is a team, isn't it? And that's where you really learn that you hold each other up.
So I wanted to touch on how UW has impacted on you as a family and how you've both used that to drive your UW business forward.
We joined for the money. We needed that extra bit of money in the early days that would really help maintain that lifestyle that we had. But, not both of us work, so that Claire could stay home with the kids. But what's kept us in the business all this time is definitely those friendships, definitely the relationships. The business has given us so much. And another thing that really hit home to me recently is just how much our kids pick up. The kids being around our team, being around our team meetings, Henry coming on, neighbour lettering with me as well. It's infectious. They can't help but pick up on these things. They're around very positive people, and that's a huge thing in itself.
Yeah. Only last week, Eloise asked me if when she joins, is she going to be a QD or does she come in as SGL because we're already SGL? And I was, well, you have to start as a D actually, darling. But we'll cross that bridge when you're 18. We've got a few years yet. But already their minds, their outlook in life is very different to my outlook in life at that age.
Yeah, it's hugely positive. And as you say, we don't often know how it impacts on them. They're like sponges at that age, aren't they? So Claire, if I come back to you, could you perhaps share the impact that it's had on you becoming active with UW and maybe the support that you've had?
Definitely. So for me, initially, when I went to Express Days, it was back then, it was all Joe's friends. It was all people that Joe knew, that Joe had met and, network through the network. And, I'd go and say hello and become friends with these people myself. However, as I've gone into the business a bit more myself, I've met my own friends. I have my own community, I suppose, within this business. And lots of the team are people that were or are still my friends, that have come into the business or people that have joined the team as a result of the team. And then you've become friends there. So I have a huge network of friends, which is absolutely amazing.
So Joe, if I can just bring you back in finally, I know when we talked, you mentioned sort of a defining moment that was integral to your business journey.
A text message that I received, we were at Express Day of all things. And I got a text message say you're in your overdraft. We always knew that, policing would allow us to live comfortably, but never, we'd never have an amazing lifestyle. But there was enough in that message, in those probably only 20 or 25 words, for me to think, actually, life isn't quite panning out how I wanted. All of those dreams and ambitions that I had earlier on, none of those are really coming to fruition. I am coasting. I am not giving my best. And I've got to make some changes.
Thank you so much to both of you for sharing all that information. We've heard about the power of events for partners who may be not involved in UW, but also are inactive and also active. We've heard about the importance of personal development and those light bulb moments that absolutely do happen. And also the importance of aiming for incentives and how powerful those can be for partners and family. And I think for me, also acknowledging that within a couple, you can have individuals that will be in different places. So if you are watching this panel and you have couples in your business or partnerships in your business, bear in mind that there will be two individuals in there who may be in different places and they will need support differently. So I hope you have enjoyed listening to these two fantastic couples and taken lots of tips from their UW journey.
Our next guest speaker is someone that's friends to the whole of Team Purple and someone that's really inspired me and Caroline to our recent promotion to Senior Group Leader. She's a super mum to the wonderful Ava. She's a television actress, don't you know, and she's a UW legend. She's recently become an international speaker too, where she was an absolute hit at the recent Mastermind event in Turkey. She's a 300 plus club member, Senior Group Leader, and we're going to see her now in a slightly more subdued state. Be ready for some real great wisdom as we head over to not so sunny Wales to hear from the beautiful Claire Hingar.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
Every day I walk the dog, and it gives me time to think and ponder and plan. It gives me time to ring some team members, catch up with leaders, breathe in space from it all. So I'd just like to say, as this new year begins, take time every day to reflect. Take time every day to be somewhere that fills your soul and makes you happy, because planning and preparation and being in the right mindset is so important for us as life throws curveballs and challenges and hurdles as it does. And I just want to share a concept with you all that has served me really well in moments of doubt, in moments of fatigue and frustration and failure and fear, the big F word, and that is the idea of the simple concept of just one. Now, one seems so inconsequential, a single digit, a three-letter word. One, just one. When I'm feeling doubtful, or I can't get off the sofa, or I don't want to make that call because I'm fearful about what people are going to think, what am I going to sound like, what are they going to say, sometimes I just give myself a shake and I say, come on Claire, just one. Just one phone call, just one message. And you imagine if you did just one message every day, 5 days a week for a month, 5, 10, 15, that'd be 20 messages if you had Saturday and Sunday off. And I bet you out of 20 messages, somebody would respond. You'd get some success. And with every message you send or every phone call you make, you'll get better, you'll get more competent, you'll get more confidence, your skills will increase. So I just want to give you that idea about when you're not feeling it, because let's be honest, we don't always feel it, do we? Even the leaders in the business, okay? We have the same frustrations and failures and fears and little mind monsters and those self-limiting beliefs that everybody else gets. Okay, it's just we've had more of them because we've been in the business longer. Believe me, every day I have to battle with those little mind monsters that say, oh, don't bother making that call. Oh, no, just have another cup of tea. Oh, do this, do that. So I'm just going to give you the idea of just one. How powerful just one is. Just get you up the starting blocks. And I can promise you, when I've done that, I then go on to make another one, make another phone call or send another message, because I've kind of broken the habit. Just one. And I also want to say about this year, about being proud of what you're part of. Never be shameful or embarrassed of the opportunity you have in your hands and the business that we're in. You know, the movement is just beginning, really. We are trailblazers in many respects. Yeah, people have come before us, but it's only just starting to pop. And in the coming years, this movement is going to be huge, and most people are going to be looking for an opportunity like ours. We know, the Me Report, 20 million people, 1 in 3 people have got a second income. In the next couple of years, another 5 million people. You know, I said that's the population of Wales, 5 million people. Going to be looking for something else. And yeah, right, you know, what we do isn't sexy or exciting, right? You know, SIM cards, kilowatt hours, Wi-Fi's, routers, boiler cover. But people will sooner go without food and water than they would Wi-Fi. Wes Linden's one of those, I'm telling you now. Don't take his phone off him. He'd rather you take air and water off him than his mobile phone. So we're in the business of redirectional spending. Okay, we just redirect people's spending from British Gas and BT to us. And what do I say? That great saying, you cannot sell a saving. And remember, we're not salespeople, we're just ordinary people. Ordinary backgrounds, from bin men to barristers, from solicitors to students, just recommending the services from the heart to our friends and family, neighbours and colleagues, and doing that proudly. You know, if I could show you a way of making 2024 better than 2023, would it be worth half an hour of your time? Can I show you what I'm up to? Would it be okay if I send you a little video of other police officers or teachers or, you know, professionals or, you know, carers, people who work in trades who are involved in the business that I'm involved with part-time? Would it be okay if I sent you a short video and got your feedback? Just reaching out, having conversations, being natural, not being pushy and salesy. Conversations, not presentations. Showing, not selling. So I just wanted to share the concept of just one with you today. When you're feeling like you can't take a step forward. Because that's real too, you know? This business is ups and downs, twists and turns, it's ins, it's outs, it's highs, it's lows. It's an opportunity for new possibilities, new beginnings. No matter what happened yesterday, last week, last year, you may have had an amazing time in your business, or you may look back thinking, gosh, you know, I could have done a bit more. Well, it's the new year. I love that. Fresh starts. Get out there and do the wrong thing to get it right. And remember that every day is a new day. And next time you're feeling like you can't move forward, I just want you to think just one phone call, just one message, just one. Thank you, everybody. I can't wait to see you all soon. Power up and share your successes and see people cross the stage. That's what I love about UW. Ordinary people who achieve extraordinary things, giving us the belief and the power that we can do it too. So happy New Year and see you soon.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Claire mentioned UW Stories a moment ago, and there's a new one out today to show people who claim they can't do UW because they don't know anything about utilities. This will be a great one to show your prospects, so let's take a look right now.
I joined UW sort of just to take a bit of a leap to try and pull me out with my financial situation. I was a bit hesitant at first because I wasn't really aware much about the utility side when I did sign up with UW, but you've also got a lot of your mentors and your team.
She hasn't been a part of for very long, but she's progressed and now passing on the knowledge to her team and coaching them as well. What I would say, you don't need to know anything about utilities when you join UW because you're going to be part of a team, you're going to have a dedicated mentor, and obviously our role is to get you independent.
The reason I joined UW was to reduce stress levels, really. I used to be a deputy head teacher. I'd been teaching for 30 years. I sort of fell out of love with teaching, but like many teachers, felt a little trapped until I saw the opportunity and the flexibility that UW gave me. Initially, there was some concern because it was so new, so different. My friends and colleagues would tell you that I'm clearly not someone who would study utilities, but UW made it so simple with the structure and the process, and the simplicity of the tools, the training, the support means that you don't need to worry about knowing any detail about the utilities other than the brilliant presentation that's available for all the partners to use. UW actually changed my life significantly. It took away all the stress of paperwork, of planning. I follow my own timetable instead of the school's timetable, and I've been able to see my grandchildren grow up when I definitely wouldn't have had the time to do that. But UW also provides a secondary passive income, and over the last 10 years, my passive income has now overtaken my 30-year teacher's pension.
Before I joined UW, I was in a product selling business, specifically selling makeup. The reason why I joined UW was I worked out I could either help one person to save money or sell 100 products. So when I heard about what UW could potentially do, I thought I might as well give it a shot because I've got nothing to lose. So when I started with UW, I knew absolutely nothing about utilities. I didn't even pay a utility bill, let alone know how it worked. So yeah, I struggled with the idea of selling utilities because it just seemed complicated. But while learning, I realised you don't need to know anything about broadband or energy. It was a step-by-step system. I had so much support, so you're never on your own. When I joined, I needed £1,000 per month, and it would mean that I didn't have to worry. And now I do that residually, and it is that residual income that allows the flexibility, but it gives you those choices in order to be able to say yes rather than say no. Mum and dad are getting older, they're not going to be around forever, and you want to be able to make memories rather than sit in an office all day.
So I haven't been in UW long, but my last month was my best month. So I did receive £1,400, which was massive. That's basically a full-time wage for a few hours of work. Do you know, it's the best decision I've ever made. If I listened to my doubts, I wouldn't have achieved what I have.
Well, what a day we're having so far. Next up, it's some more news from head office about how the business is developing and growing. And this time, it's from a guy who does so much to help Team Purple, always there to encourage us, help us and support us. You've got it. It's our partner director, the one and only Justin Bizzino.
Hello everyone, hope you're having a fantastic kickoff. Now, as you know, 2023 was a record year on so many levels. Customers, recruitment supporting, and of course, all that hard-earned money going to you, Team Purple. A record number of lives touched by this fantastic business, and a record number of lives changed with that extra income, both through the savings and the earnings. And as we get closer to blasting through that 1 million customer mark, the work you do has never been more important. As of this month, everyone's getting a £100 a year rise in energy. Energy bills are almost double what they were 3 years ago, even taking into account they're all using less energy now. And with inflation still so high and 30,000 households a week coming off a fixed rate mortgage and having to pay a great deal more, experts say that UK households are facing the biggest challenge to their finances since the Second World War. That's where you step in, because you can solve their problems. You have just over 2 weeks left to give them an extraordinary broadband offer from under £20 a month. And when that's gone, it really is gone, so don't sit on it. And the really important mission you have is team building. So Team Purple is currently at just over 65,000 partners, having grown by over 50% since the start of 2022. But that really is just the beginning. Let me give you an example. You know, we have about 3% share of the energy market. And that means there's still a long way to go for all of us. But the market for multi-income individuals, as you all know, is 20 million adults. If we had a 3% share of that multi-income individual market then, we'd have not 60,000, but 600,000 partners. Just imagine that. Now we don't necessarily need all those 600 partners, but we do want a lot more than the current 65,000. Because if we're going to double the customer numbers by adding another 1 million customers quickly, then it makes sense that we're going to want to double the partner numbers very quickly as well. So it's taken us 25 years to get to the first 1 million customers, and we all know that at this pace, we're going to add the next 1 million customers in a fraction of the time. So let's make sure we do that by adding the next 65,000 partners in a fraction of the time as well. That starts today with your spreading the word, your recruitment, your supporting, your team building, and you're making sure that everyone around you is touched by this incredible opportunity so they can shape their own futures, whatever they may be. Have a great rest of the event.
I work long haul for an airline and get to travel the world. Now, that might sound great, okay, but it does come with its challenges. One of the reasons why I decided to join UW was because I wanted to get back some more time. Now, as with flying, I'm constantly away from my friends and family, and I thought UW would give me back some time, and I am pleased to say that has happened. I've managed to reduce my hours down, and I now have a better work-life balance. Now, one benefit of being cabin crew is I get to see and meet lots of people and lots of fellow colleagues as well. And how I fit UW into that is when we're on the plane, and we'll be speaking to the other crew, and I just listen to what they have to say, and I ask questions. And most people like to talk about themselves, and most people like to talk about the problems. So, you know, they'll be saying the mortgage or the rent has gone up, they have the childcare costs gone up, and how expensive food is. And once I've built the rapport up and made them feel at ease, all I would say is, I think I can help. Now, I don't go all purple on them straight away. I just simply say I can help. Now, what we may do is we may arrange to meet for a coffee, and that is when I can slowly introduce the idea of UW, whether it's saving or earning as a partner. Now, I've been known to do my UW appointments anywhere in the world. So I could be on a beach, I could be in my hotel room, I could be by the pool, or on my balcony. I just fit UW into the nooks and the crannies of my life. So when I started UW, I was nervous, I didn't know what I was talking about, and I didn't even think I'd be able to get going. But I had fantastic support from my upline, and they held my hand the whole way through the process. So because I know that's how I felt when I started, I know that that's how they're going to feel. It's only right that I pass that support back down to my new partners. I make sure that they are constantly supported, okay, that they know that I'm going to hold their hand the whole way through this process. Now, because I travel a lot, there are sometimes times when I'm not available to do that supporting. So what I do is I make sure that someone else in my team is there. My new partners are never left alone, and I think that's the key to success, okay? So getting them off the ground and getting them as independent from me as possible. So support, and do you know what? Being a bit cheeky, you're going to get support and bonuses, and you're going to get matching holiday points as well. So it's a win-win all round.
My top tip for promotion in 2024 is to set your goals, create daily, weekly and monthly action plans, and finally a must-do is just embrace recruitment. The reason I joined Utility Warehouse was to build a long-term residual income for my son Daniel, who's on the autistic spectrum, and that has given me tremendous peace of mind.
You need to commit to talking to 2 people every single day and giving them one of your marketing materials. That way you will find that your business grows in 2024 and you will get promoted. I joined to earn an additional £100 a month, but I found that by doing a little activity every day, my business began to grow and so did my income.
I like setting myself big, outrageous goals and then breaking them down into smaller chunks to give me something to achieve along the way. So I feel that sense of achievement. But yeah, to think 2.5 years ago I was homeless and now I'm living rent free. through that, setting them goals is unbelievable if you think about it. And then, I feel blessed. Jim Rohn says, the day that changed your life, and I've got one day sticks in mind for me. And they say that your wife should make you cry, and this gets me. It really hurts me, and that's why it drives me so much. That's why I'm so passionate about changing where I was to where I want to be. But yeah, I'd been in the business maybe 2 weeks. I'd done my training, but nothing else at that point. And I took my son to the park. Again, I'm still living in the van with my dog, and I just picked him up to take him out for a few hours. And he asked me to buy him an ice cream, as any kid would, at the park. They asked you want an ice cream. And I just felt like an instant emotion of like shame and guilt and sort of like disappointment that I knew turned my pockets inside out. I couldn't afford to buy him an ice cream. And because I was that ashamed, I couldn't even bring myself to answer him. He's just asking for an ice cream. And I knew I couldn't afford to buy him one. So I just ignored him. I didn't even answer him. I just held his hand and I just walked off. I just walked away. I'm a full-time police officer at this point. I've worked in the army. I've worked in the police. I've got a law degree. I've done everything society the way things should be done and worked hard. And I'm broke. I'm homeless. I can't afford to buy my son an ice cream. I've been working non-stop for 13 years. I'm like, what is going on here? What is going wrong? And I just knew something had to change.
I was excited when I did a double promotion in 2022, but it was even more exciting when one of the team did their own double promotion in 2023. William Bloomfield joined in November 2022, and in 2023, he achieved senior team leader and group leader, the quickest ever promotion to group leader in the entire company, and all by the age of 28. Now, Will, what made you focused on getting that double promotion in 2023?
Well, Ram, let's be honest, the double promotion bonus, great one. Who doesn't want 4.5k, especially over Christmas? And massively the fact that I want to build this business as fast as I can and become successful with UW as quick as I can.
Now, what advice would you give to others who want to get promoted in 2024?
Organisation. It's something I worked massively on last year and starting this year. Use the planners that UW have for you. There's so much material you can use. Don't just scope yourself out for the next promotion, but the one on from that. So if you're TL, look at STL and GL together and start to make a plan of how you're going to get there. Also, use the incentives. Incentives will really help as well. They reward you along the way as well, and they'll help you kind of build naturally to where you need to be.
You're only 28. What was your reason for wanting to make a success of UW, and what would you say to other under 30s about pushing on in the business?
Well, Ram, from when I joined 13, 14 months ago, I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to leave my other jobs I was doing. I wanted to travel. I wanted to have the flexibility just to kind of manage my own time, of which has been made very possible working with UW the last year. Mm-hmm. I know this sounds cliche, but the advice I'd give people is stop living the life of wake up, eat, work, sleep, and repeat. And do what you want to do. Do something you're proud of. Get involved with UW. It's a fantastic opportunity to make something of your life and have something you're proud of.
Amazing, Will, and have a massive 2024.
Thanks, Ram.
Cheers, buddy.
We also want to take a moment to recognise national network leader Steve Critchley, who has been a friend and mentor to so many of us in UW for more than 25 years, as well as being the top earner in the network. He spends so much time recognising and supporting everyone else in the business and expects no recognition in return. But not only has he reached the highest 5-star level in UW in 2023, but he was recently invited to be interviewed at the Mastermind event by the legendary leader Art Jonah in front of an audience of people from many different companies from all around the world. Take a look at this particularly poignant moment.
There are some people in our profession where they're not shouting from the mountaintop, look at me. They're not shouting from the mountaintop, look what I've done. But they're builders. They've built something amazing. They focused on the people to help them build that. They're what I would consider legends. And I'm going to bring up to this platform today, in my opinion, one of the living legends of our profession, Mr. Steve Critchley. I'm so excited.
In 2009, I had a life-threatening heart attack, and they didn't expect me to make it. But fortunately, they took care of me. The medics saved me and put some stents in my left ventricle. I'm not a victim, totally my fault. I used to smoke 20 cigarettes a day from the age of 14 to 49. So I take full responsibility for it. But whilst I was recovering in a hospital ward, across the aisle from me was a gentleman called Dennis. And Dennis was a long-distance lorry driver. He'd had a triple bypass operation, very invasive. And after 24 hours, he was trying to discharge himself from hospital. And I said to him, I said, look, you've got stitches, you know, the books and all the pamphlets to help you. They say you need 2 to 3 months to recover. I said, you're mad. Why are you trying to discharge yourself from hospital so quickly? And he said, Steve, I can't afford to be ill. And I said, what do you mean? He said, I am a long-distance lorry driver. I drive for a living. I've worked for the same company for 15 years. I have all the best runs at Rotterdam, Dusseldorf, Paris. He said, my boss gives me the best runs. If I'm not back in work in 2 weeks, he'll just give them to somebody else. He said, then I won't be able to pay my mortgage or my bills, and I'll get in trouble. And I just sat there, and a wave of gratitude just flowed through my body as I thought, you know, that business that I started, I've got more money coming in than I need. So it doesn't matter to me whether it takes 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year to get better. I haven't got to worry. And that was my light bulb moment, Art.
Wow.
With this fantastic industry. Blessed, you know, it's such a great industry. Our job is just to spread the word.
Yeah, open the doors.
Open the door, let them walk through.
One of my mentors was Jim Rohn. For those of you that aren't familiar with Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N, just YouTube it, watch some of his presentations. And I'm sitting here and you've got the Jim Rohn vibe. I feel like he's talking through you to us here. And it just brings such a smile on my face. It comes from wisdom. You can help build a ship. And then you can give a crew to go sail that ship in a race. And then we can be on the sidelines, we can be on the shore, and we can see the ship win the race, and everybody's cheering the crew. And inside, you know, we helped build the boat. And that's good enough. And you've built a lot of crews that have won so many races and continue to win the races. So thank you for being here with us, for sharing your knowledge. And I can tell you, he knows more about this business in his pinky than probably I know total. Thank you, Mr. Steve Critchley, for being here.
It's been a pleasure.
Give him a big hand.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you.
So congratulations and thank you to Steve Critchley.
Our next speaker said no to me more than anyone else ever. For 3 whole years, she said no before she finally joined the team. She signed up, she did 1 customer, she decided the timing wasn't right, and she closed her position. Leading to 4 more years of hearing no. Because one thing I've learned in my utility warehouse journey is that no for now just means yes for later, and that timing is absolutely everything. So last January, she finally said yes. And the last 12 months have been a whirlwind for both her and her team. She hit senior team leader in just 6 months. She's hit the holiday to Greece, the Christmas incentive, all 3 levels, and is now closing in on group leader too. Please welcome Lucy Marmon.
Hi everyone, my name is Lucy Morman. I am from a little village in Bolton called Blackrod, and I'm a mum of 1 and a step-grandparent to 2 little ones as well. And I joined this business in January, initially just because I wanted to earn some extra money. My upline, Bev Blackburn, has invited me to look at the business opportunity numerous times, and it's never really been the right time. But she continued to follow up with me in a non-stalkerish way. And it turns out that in January, it became the right time to join. And as I said, initially, it was just to earn some extra money. I struggled to survive on what I was earning. And yeah, that was initially the reason. I became team leader within 6 weeks of joining the business and senior team leader within 6 months, I think. And we're very, very close to now hitting that group leader position. We've got 2 really strong senior team leader legs and lots of team leaders coming up in the ranks as well. The reason I think that we were able to move so quickly in the business is I've always been a huge fan of social media. And then I continued to share a lot about my personal life and just use social media to share and connect with people and network with people. I've continued to do that even if it wasn't through business. The good, the bad and the ugly get shared on social media. And I think that I can put down my success to using social media to spread the word about the business and about becoming a customer of UW. So I do things like lives. I use Instagram and Facebook stories a lot and share my whole kind of life, not just utility warehouse. And in turn, I feel like that's allowed people to get to know me, to like me. Probably some don't, and for people to trust in me. So when I started to share about the business, I got a lot of interest straight away. And we really launched really strong in January with kind of an opportunity campaign where we were doing an opportunity live and opportunity Zooms and sharing lots about the excitement of joining the business. And we really kind of got off like to a shooting start, and I think built some momentum there, and people were kind of like, oh, what they doing? Oh, what they doing? And we grew quite quickly. That's not to say, because looking at it, it looks like I've just had all this success and no struggles at all. As I said, when I first joined, I was working full time, and I did really find it hard to kind of get the balance between being a mom and also my full-time job. Now, I used to fit appointments and fast start calls and things like that, either in my lunch hours or the evenings or the weekends. But obviously I had a little girl that had additional needs, and I really had to step back for a couple of months. But I think because we built such a foundation so quickly, whilst I took that time out to kind of focus on my daughter, the business continued to grow. And then I decided off the back of that actually I didn't want to work in this job that I was unhappy in. I wanted to focus on my daughter more. And in July, I left my full-time job to do this business full time. And as I said, I feel like the success has come from sharing on social media, live stories, sharing about our successes. The team, a lot of the team do follow suit. A lot of them do different things, do the 20Ks. But I feel like a big thing in our team is social media. So I just wanted to encourage those of you who might be a little bit scared of it, or think that they haven't had success using it so far, that it really just does take being consistent and keeping sharing the success, keeping sharing those stories. Keep on sharing about your life and get people to know you more and like you and trust you. And then in turn, people will want to find out more about the business and about becoming a customer. And I'm so grateful for Utility Warehouse for allowing me to, leave my job and do this full time and be a more present mum. And I've really seen the benefits of that with Olivia. And I'm just so excited for 2024 and everything that's to come for myself and my amazing team. And yeah, I hope everybody took something from that, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye.
Our next speaker has never actually been a distributor himself, but he's been as close to the field as you could possibly imagine, having been involved with Primerica for a number of decades, culminating in his final role with them as co-chief executive officer, where he led them through the terrible global economic recession in 2008 and led them into an extremely successful flotation on the New York Stock Exchange. In fact, one of the most successful ever. When he retired, it was no surprise that UW wanted to get him involved with supporting Team Purple as a senior advisor. People rarely realise what a big deal he is. But as an example, when he first went back to speak for Primerica as a surprise after he'd retired, the response gives an insight into the lives he's changed. So please join me in welcoming Mr. John Addison.
Hey everybody, John Addison here. It's so exciting to talk to all of you today. Wes wanted me to talk to you for a few minutes, and I believe this is going to be an absolutely amazing year. The world is crazy. This has been an amazing time that we've all lived through and shared together. But as I look at Utility Warehouse now, as I look at the potential for Team Purple, this can be our greatest year. I mean, number one, you think about the product that we offer to the families of Great Britain. I mean, we have the most trusted brand. We have the best value for people today. And that is more critical than ever. I mean, people are hurting. People have, too much month at the end of the money, and it's only getting worse. And we have the ability to save them money and to do something great for their family. And we're not selling a product. It's not like we show up to a family and say, hey, we want you to buy this. It's going to cost you this extra. We show up and show people how to get more value for the pounds that they spend. So that's one huge advantage we have. The second huge advantage, which I believe we need to focus on like crazy, is that we have an opportunity for people to have freedom in their own life, make more income. The best way to battle inflation is not to complain about it, is to not wait for the government to fix it, which, trust me, anytime the government, whether it's where I live in the United States or here, tries to help, usually it only hurts. That the best thing we can do is control our own income and make more money. And the beauty of UW is it gives you the ability to have freedom and choices in your life. I was at an event recently, and a young lady was talking that had been, a nurse for years with the NHS. And now she's able to be a nurse part-time, not back full-time, spend more time with her young children, and do UW, and she's making more money than she was making when she was 100% full-time with the NHS. Life is about having freedom. Life is about having choices. Life is about living life on your terms. So that's my challenge to you. You know, as we head, it's not going to be long, and it's going to be April, and we're going to be at Power Up. How many people are you going to have at Power Up? Not just you. Number one, you need to be signed up. You need to attend. It's going to be an amazing, amazing, life-changing event. But you need to be there with new team members. You need to be there with people coming with you that you haven't even met yet. I believe this can be your greatest hour, your greatest year. I'm so excited about what Team Purple is going to do. I'll see you at the top because the bottom sure is crowded.
Our next speaker is a senior group leader, mum to 3, and known as the Coffee Morning Queen. This time last year, she decided she was going to double the size of her business. She did it. Mainly by sponsoring lots of me's into the team, multi-income individuals. Lots of them with senior backgrounds, high-earning jobs who ordinarily you might not expect to need an extra income. So get ready to take notes. Let's welcome some of them from Team Happy and introduce Tamsin Ford.
The only way is up,
We've got a really exciting year ahead of us. You know, who wants more from 2024? I think it's more a question of who doesn't want more from 2024. And what I've seen over recent years is with what's going on in the world out there, that smart people are realizing that if they don't do something different, they're going backwards, and that most people want to keep moving forward in life. We're going to hear now from some fantastic people who are definitely moving forward with UW. So we've got Melissa, mum of 2, over in Lytham St Anne's. Melissa, tell us, why did you join UW?
I've been a customer for about 7 years. My school mum friend Sarah introduced me to UW. She tried to show me the business many times, and I hadn't even got as far as seeing it for myself because I'd always shot her down and said, why would I want to do that? I'm a GP. I'm a partner in a practice. I work 4 days a week. There was no way I thought that I A, had time, or B, needed UW in my life. And then I've met lots of other professional people who had indeed managed to fit it into their busy lives and career and around their careers. And what I saw was that these people had built up a passive income, which was really interesting to me. So whilst I wasn't too bothered about the customer gathering upfront money, I thought, wow, if I just built a team and did this sort of consistently from now, there might be the opportunity for me to retire a little bit earlier than I was planning to, which was why I joined.
Fantastic. So having that social proof from other people that you could relate to really opened your eyes as to why it would matter for you. That's super cool. And Kate is in Sheffield, mum of 2 boys. And why did you join UW?
Yes, I'm an assistant head teacher at a massive secondary school in Sheffield. And again, didn't think I needed UW in my life until I saw the presentation and saw the opportunity. And it just so happened that at the time that I was shown this, I knew that our mortgage was going to come out of a fixed rate, which it did. And it actually went up by £380 a month. And if I hadn't started UW the year before, there's no way I'd have been able to go on holiday. I'd not have bought the kids any Christmas presents. I'd not have been able to afford to leave the house because everything's so expensive now. But because of UW, I've managed to do all of those things. And actually, we've just continued with life as normal. And UW's picked up all that extra money that we needed.
That's fantastic. So you dug your well before you were thirsty, really, knowing what was coming. And you got off to a great start last Christmas or Christmas before, and over, I think, £2,000 just in your starter period. What changed for you?
Yeah, I'd only planned on doing UW for a month. I thought I'll just do it for a month. I'll just see what I can get from it and then I'll leave. But at Kickoff, and it was just the social proof. There was a teacher talking about why he does it, and I thought, he's just like me, I can do this as well. There was also somebody who said, don't be the person in 5 years' time who's thinking, what if I'd stuck at it? And I've just kept that with me. So the times when I've been thinking I can't fit this into my life, I haven't got any spare time to do it, I've just kept on because I don't want to be that person in 5 years' time that has any regrets.
And what is it that you want from this now? I think that's changed a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it changes monthly. So I had a light bulb moment and realised that I should be able to retire from teaching in 10 years' time, rather than, I don't even want to think how many years it should be.
That's fantastic. And I have no doubt that you're going to achieve that as well. So Emma, also in Sheffield, would you like to share your background, Emma, and why you joined UW?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was a director of technology for a large national FM business, traveling around the country, traveling everywhere and not getting much time for the family. And in January last year, I went on a journey down to the south coast. It was going to take 9 hours to get there and back, and the meeting was literally for 30 minutes, and it just seemed just ridiculous. So I found I had a bit of time to start thinking about what to do. Decided if I could retrain and do something that could be flexible. So I decided to retrain to be a mortgage advisor. And at the same time realised I couldn't really afford to retrain because cost of living crisis is a bit crazy, and I didn't want to take the money out of the family pot. So I'd remembered something from one of the school mums about UW, and I thought, give her a call, find out a little bit more about it and see if that could sort of pay for the training.
Yeah, there's a great little tip in there, isn't there? People can't think of you and come to you unless you let them know what it is that you're part of. But what is it, what has this business allowed you to do? You joined end of January in 2023 and already have 77 personal customers, recruited 34 partners, done oodles of supports and so on. So you've earned some really good money around that full-time job. And where are you at now?
So yeah, I've like you say, done quite a lot of customers, managed to earn enough money to feel confident to hand in my notice, and left the corporate job finally, set up my mortgage advice business, and got the UW safety net, like Kate mentioned, that's allowing me to start moving forward with that business as well.
Yeah, and to have that flexibility to be there for your son and
absolutely,
that's really super cool and huge. Well done, and really excited to see what comes next for you as well, Emma. And Alison, so Alison Lawton, again here in Sheffield, flying towards group leader. Alison has 3 kids, 2 cats, and when we met, you were working at Aldi before they were a 3% cashback partner, but working at Aldi around your personal training business. So why did that wasn't the whole story. Why did you join?
So my background is that I was basically working in the pharmaceutical industry as a worldwide director of data management, traveling the world, very, very stressed and burnt out with what I was doing. I decided to leave that, make a massive career change and set up my own personal training business, as Tamsin's just said. And when I actually came across UW 5 years ago, I was working at Aldi just to make ends meet, just because it was really difficult setting up my own business with all of the costs that involved and trying to find clients, from scratch, really. I really needed the UW business just to bring money in more than anything.
Yeah. And what's changed for you? Your business is thriving, and where are you at now?
Well, as Tamsin says, I am heading towards GL quite quickly, hopefully. But what I've decided recently is that I need more for me in 24 and more for the team and more for the family. So I've decided to finish with the personal training and concentrate on UW, because that's the vehicle that's really helping me move forward in life and helping the family move forward as well.
I remember you saying also that, as with your sort of professional head, that actually you only ever saw the personal training business going so far, and what you can see is how far this business can take you. So, that's super, super exciting. I wonder, guys, before we go, if we could maybe have a top tip from everyone. So if we start with you, Melissa.
My top tip would be just to follow the system and just do the presentation. Don't skip out the bits about being partners, and just do it as the system shows you to do it.
Fantastic. Thank you. Kate?
Yeah, just keep going. Don't be the person with regrets in 5 years' time.
Fantastic. Emma?
talk to everybody about it and re-talk to everybody about it, because people get busy.
Fortune is definitely in the follow-up. And Alison?
We all join for a reason, don't we? So I think the biggest thing is to help people understand and really crystallise their why.
That's amazing. Thank you very much, all of you. I think whatever our backgrounds, whoever I hope that having heard these guys and their story gives you a little bit of posture that you're going to go and speak to people and let everybody know really what we have to offer them, whether they need the extra income now, whether they want the different sorts of choices around work, time, retirement, and so on. This business can give us everything, and we're going to have a really fantastic year ahead.
The only way is up.
It's time for our final speaker of the day, and what a day we've had. But it's definitely not over yet, so don't go anywhere, as you really don't want to miss this. Our next speaker has been a partner for over 25 years, having joined as a university student. And as well as climbing the stairway to success right to the top, he's also the longest running best-selling author in our space in the UK. He MCs and helps to run Mastermind, which is the most prestigious and trusted event in our industry in the world. I've been a delegate at Mastermind for a few years now, both in person and virtually. But this year, I was lucky enough to be involved at Mastermind in Turkey and got to see exactly how much work goes on in the background to speak at these events. Now, I've always thought our next speaker is brilliant, but working with them in the lead up to and at the event made me realise just how trusted and respected he is by the other legends in our industry from all around the world and by everyone he meets. We really are so lucky to have regular access to his world-class leadership right here in UW. So get those notebooks ready, because everything he shares is absolute gold dust. Closing the big kickoff 2024 is National Network Leader Wes Lynn.
Today's event, I asked you a simple question. What are you prepared to do differently in the next 12 months to what you did in the last year? I asked you to score yourself based on your UW efforts for the last year. And the result might have made you uncomfortable, but that's good, as nobody ever achieves anything in their comfort zone, and you're not going to be the first to change that. You may have noticed a familiar thread running through the people we've heard from today. Ordinary people achieving extraordinary things around their busy lives. If they can, why can't you? We have lots of ways that we get paid in UW. And there's two big types of income in this business: the upfront customer and supporting bonuses, and the long-term residual income. The upfront customer and supporting bonuses are entirely down to your efforts. The long-term residual income is where you get paid again and again for the work you've done in the past. It's like the royalties that Take That, Adele and Elton John get paid every time someone downloads one of their tracks. So I want to concentrate on the long-term residual income for a few moments. I remember in 2007 when the last big recession was starting, and we were telling people that this was the right time to take the business more seriously, to find more spare hours in their week where they can turn unprofitable time into profitable time. Those who listened and took action not only helped a lot of people get through that difficult economic period, but they set themselves up financially so that they had a residual income that meant they would never need to worry about recessions again. And they were protected during those difficult times we had of COVID. Those people were able to relax. They had a wall of protection around them, knowing that their income was already in place when lockdowns happened and the world turned upside down. You see, residual income means never having to start again. Residual income, passive income, recurring income, an income that's paid to you again and again for work you've done in the past. Now, of course, you do get a residual income from personal customers, but the really substantial residual incomes come from building a team. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in the same place as 2007, looking down the barrel of a cost of living crisis and economic catastrophe that's already started biting nearly everyone around the UK. And we're all set for a recession that's going to be many times harsher than the last one in 2007. Now, here's the problem. People on your prospect list are going to be on someone else's too. Your neighbours are someone else's neighbours as well. Your Facebook friends have other Facebook friends, not just you. So if you don't speak to them, someone else in Team Purple will. And with 5 million people looking to become a ME, that's multi-income individual, by 2025, that's a lot of folks looking for a secondary income. You can help them. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. How can there be 5 million people looking for an extra income when I can't even find 5 that want to do something? And you're wondering, how will you ever build a team if you can't get momentum going? And hard, I had that a lot in my early days. Even today, you get people that quit. You know, someone called me the other day and said, Wes, I'm not going to do the business anymore. To which I thought, I didn't know you could do it any less. But you can sometimes feel like a lone nutcase, the only one that gets it. It took me a while to get off the ground. My first new team members seemed to want to either do nothing or for me to do everything for them. And it can feel lonely initially. But if you're the only one who is doing anything in your team right now, don't worry, because we all started there. Now let me share with you this video about creating momentum, which was originally shared by the author Derek Sivers. This video helps us see an example of leadership and creating a movement. A leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. This is how you might feel sometimes, like you're the only one. But what this guy in the video is doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is the key. You must be easy to follow and not be embarrassed to be out there taking action on your own. Now comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone how to follow. Notice the leader embraces him as an equal, so it's not about the leader anymore, it's about both of them. Notice he's calling for his friends to join in as well. It takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out, it's brave, and you can be ridiculed. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms the lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the gas, the first follower is the spark that creates the fire. Now the second follower, that's a turning point. It's proof that the first has started to duplicate with your support. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not 2 nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is big news. You need to make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here comes 2 more, then 3 more. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point. Now we've got a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join now. They won't be ridiculed, they won't stand out, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. They have FOMO, and now we see the rest who prefer to be part of the crowd joining in because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not getting involved, just as it's becoming strange if people don't have a second income. And Team Purple, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap on what we saw there. If you are the version of the shirtless dancing guy all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the team and the movement, not about you. Be public, be easy to follow, but the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is overglorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There is no movement without the first follower. Once you have your first follower, embrace them, support them, and show others how simple it is to be a follower too and join the movement. If you're that lone nut right now, keep dancing on your own. And when you get your first few followers, your first team members, embrace them. Get them to a local buzz. Get them to Power Up. Get them on the big night in. Support them to get started and help them find more people to join the movement. Look, it's a bit of fun, but let me assure you, we all start as the lone nut. And if you want to become unimportant to the creation of your income, it starts with one, and that's you. UW will very shortly be getting to 1 million customers. I remember when we got to 1,000 just over a quarter of a century ago. But in the coming few years, that'll be 2 million. How big a share of that do you want in your team? We now have over 65,000 partners in Team Purple, and the aim is to hit 100,000 in the next year or so. How many of those new partners do you want in your team? So let me leave you with 3 simple tips to make sure you make 2024 count and become one of the people that we are recognising on the stage at Power Up and Amplify. Number 1, before you go to bed tonight, book your ticket for Power Up 2024. If you're at a watch party right now, let everyone know when you've booked. And who can you call from your team in the next 24 hours to get them booking as well? Number 2, put the Amplify dates in your diary. It's the weekend of the 7th of September. More details to follow. And number 3, what do you have to do to move your business on a level by Power Up? Instead of hoping it might happen, why not plan your next promotion today? Before the day is over, draw out what your team looks like right now and what you need to do to hit your next promotion. How many other people in your team do you need to help to get their own promotion? And speak to one of the leaders in your team and tell them you're serious about this next promotion. In fact, why not send them a message that says this? Why not say, I've been to the kickoff today and I am serious about getting my next promotion by Power Up. How soon can we have a chat about it and make a plan, please? Even if you're sitting next to them now, still send the message and then it's in black and white. Thank you for joining us today. I believe in you all and I know that together we can make 2024 the year that us lone nuts create life-changing movements.